Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube. Well, here we are, back again. Where was I? Oh, yes. This is the new line that is available to us, and I have to say, it has really improved a great deal, because we used to use steel line, which is, let me just show you a sample and you'll see what I mean. Let me show you here. I'm going to show you a sample, because this is the line we've been used to for many years, and I'll be honest with you, it is hard to work with. This is what we always had for many years. And this stuff, I'll tell you, you got to be G.I. Joe to bend it. Look. Now imagine laying under that car and stringing 25 feet of this line to fix one brake line, replacing it from the master cylinder all the way over to the passenger rear wheel, and then getting to do it again and having to bend the line around the frame, round the gas tank, over the top, over to the other side. Good luck. This stuff is hard. This stuff here, look at how nice that is to work with. And you can manipulate it, and this is copper and nickel. So this is the die, and this is the bit we're using. It's 3/16. This is 3/16 line. So we're going to create a double flare. So this will create one flare, a bubble, and then I will press it with this one, and it will give us the double flare. So 1 and 2. So here's what you don't want to forget. If you go ahead, you can probably, some guys have told me that you can borrow this tool from some parts stores. It's what's called a double line flaring tool. So you can do fuel lines and brake lines with this. So if you have this already locked in here, and I create a double flare there, how are you going to get the nut on there? Because what happens is we're going to create a flare, then this line is going to bolt into this union, and that flare is going to seat in the bottom there. That's why this is just like having a solid brake line, because the other end is going to go onto the line on the car. So I'm going to use this tool under the car. That's how I did the other line, was I flared it at both ends, ready for a section. Then once I've got my double flares and my fittings on the lines on the car, that's when I'm going to take my measurement. And this is another little trick today. So that, let's say that is the line, and there's the end of the fitting. Then I'm going to measure from the end of that fitting to the end of the fitting where I'm going to attach to at the other end to another fitting. Then I'm going to cut my line. So I'm going to use my marker, measure it out, and then I'm going to use my tube cutter to cut off the tubing and make my line. So that when I'm done, I will have a line with a flare on this end and a flare on the other end. So since this is going to be 50% of the line I'm going to use out there, I'm going to flare it in front of you so you can see. Make sure you put the fitting on the right direction. It doesn't go this way, because it has to thread into this. You see what I'm doing? That has to go on this way. This is going to go on to the other end. So this is the existing line end in the car, already fitted on there. So I'm bringing the nut up, and you'll see once I have a flare, and then this is going to bolt into here. This is the end of the existing line on the car. It's going to thread into there. 100% positive connection. So there's going to be no brake line leaks there. Now this is a bit of an art to do this. And don't be afraid if you mess the line up a couple times. I usually say cut a piece of line and practice. Do a couple of flares first. Sometimes you might get lucky and get it right. But you know what? I still have troubles with them. Okay, so now I'm going to take my die, and this has two shoulders, one here and one here. This is the one we gauge the amount of material we need to have sticking up out of the die holder. Actually, I just call it the line holder. It's holding the line for me. And I can do 7/16, quarter inch, 1/8, 3/16, 5/16, and 3/8. So I can do fuel lines and big truck brake lines. So I need that line sticking up to the very top of this edge right here. That's how much line I need sticking out of the line holder. No more, no less. Don't shortchange it, because if you do, or you have too much like that sticking up, you're going to make a nasty flare, and it will not work. So you got to make sure that you have the same material all the way around. So I just make a habit of rolling that around and making sure it's there, and then I hold the line and I leave my die there so I can see it. And I know I'm there. Then I grab this. I still hold my line. I don't want it to slip. I'm going to tighten this side of the line holder. Excuse me for my throat today, because it's allergy season. It's kind of kicking my butt a little bit today. You know, I never had allergies. I'm still looking for the person that gave them to me. Yeah, I got something to tell them. Okay, so you snug those up. Don't go nuts tightening those up. That's tight enough. Okay, so now we're going to, we take this die, and you see this little tip here? The die is in here that it's going to mold the line to. So we put that in there, and I always make sure it's nice and free. Then we bring this over top, and we're going to bring that down into the die. Snug it up by hand. That's what I do. If you have a different method, then you're welcome to use it. Always, use what you know. And now I'm tightening the die down, and then it's molding my line. And again, where's my fitting? There it is, facing the right way. And if you make a mistake and forget to put the nut on, or you put it on backwards, then you know what? It was a practice. You get to do it again. Just like if we forget to put the sound on and we're shooting videos, I get to say it all again. And it's okay. Because if that's the worst thing that ever happens to us in the world, we are blessed. Okay, so you crank that down, but don't kill it. Again, you're not holding an engine in, you're not holding a wheel on. Then this die will be a little tight. Don't put pliers on. Don't rock it back and forth unless you feel like buying another 3/16 die. My guys in the shop used to get rammy and snap that off. I can't even tell you how many times. Okay, so now that's my single flare. So it has created, it's puckered the line and created like a muffin top. Ladies, I know you just said, I don't want a muffin top. So now we have to turn it into a flare, an inverted flare. Because this is cone shaped in here, we need this to be shaped like what it looks like standing under an umbrella. That's the umbrella top in there, and this has got to be the bottom. So we put this on, put the point of this die into the hole on the tube. Bring it up by hand and make sure that thing stays in the center and snug it up. Now we get our tool in here, and this is where pressure is everything. Not pressure from the world and friends and whatnot, but feel the pressure that you're putting on that die. Go slow. Don't just crank it around. You're crushing metal, and you need it to pucker down on its time. So just go a turn, and then I wait. And I let that metal flex. If you just get rammy, you can end up sprawling that umbrella shape, the cone shape, and it'll crack. It'll have spider cracks. That's not a good flare. And you don't want to put too much pressure, because if you sprawl that cone shape too much, you'll stretch the metal out too much and it spider cracks. So I wait, then I give it another turn. And now I'll give it another turn. See how easy it got? Give that metal a chance. You're expanding it. You're spreading it out to mold. I probably got one little bit of a turn left, and that's enough. Don't force this thing, because you're going to spread that cone and split it, and then it's no good. You got to cut it off and start again. Don't even try to use it, because the line will leak at the fitting. So now that's enough. So now I just wait, let the metal relax, and then I'm going to take that off, and we should have a nice conical umbrella shaped flare, and it's called a double flare. We do not do single flares on brake lines because of the line pressure. The hydraulic pressure is great. A single flare can split and leak and cause brake failure. So I always was taught to always do a double flare. Even in trade school, a double flare, not a single flare. Okay. That looks really good, actually, Nilo. Oh, did I say that? Nilo. Some people know me as Nilo. Okay, so now we can release our line. Bring that out of there. Look at that. That's truly a beauty, Jimmy. That's a nice one. That's what you want to see. So again, if you push the cone into the single flare too much, you'll spread the metal too much and there'll be fractures. I got a nice clean dish in there, umbrella. And so now we can bring the fitting up, get our union, thread that right on. You got a brake line. And I'm going to tighten this up using 2 line wrenches, 10 millimeter and 10 and 12. So 10 millimeter line, use a line wrench. I highly recommend you buy, and I'm going to put this endorsement in because I've tried them all, and it was an old tech that told me don't buy anything but snap-on line wrenches. And I'm going to tell you why. I will show you what a line wrench looks like. These are things you need to learn. This is more for the do-it-yourselfer, but for someone, you're paying someone to do this job, this is how I would have just saved you probably about $1,500 in labor. Looking at it, reading it, and not just jumping in there and doing brake lines, but taking a good look at the brake lines and going, well, why do I need to replace 50 feet of brake line when I can work on it right here? So I take this tool out to the car and I hold this in my hand with a pair of vice grips, and the vice grips become my vise, and I make the line and right on the car. So this is a snap-on line wrench, and the reason I'm putting a plug in for them because I used the advice of an old tech who said the reason you get the snap-ons is these don't spread on you when you go to tighten the nut. It doesn't open, and they're absolutely right. So what happens is this will go on to the line. This is the wrong size because I already have it out at the car. I have my tools out there. This goes over the nut, and then you have another line wrench that goes over the union, and then you can get a really good grip on both of them and they won't skip round and round off the nuts and round off the union. That's what the snap-on line wrenches will not do. They don't spread and cause, you've made a nice line, got a nice union, and the other wrenches will skip, take the edges off, and now you have a rounded off union and a rounded off nut, and it turns into a major problem. So that's how I make the line. I can bend this any way I want and bend it back. I love this new line so much. It's expensive, but you know what? It's going to outlive that car. It's copper and nickel, and really a thrill to work with. So till next time, thanks for stopping by. That's how you can save a lot of money. If you have a tech that's doing the work, if they're sharp, would figure out that, you know what, we don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in this particular circumstance on this '09 Hyundai Accent, and we can get the job done right and tight, put everything back together, all the lines back together under the car properly, just like it'll look like it just came from the factory. I'll spray some rust proofing in there when I'm done. Not rubberized rust proofing, but I'll use some corrosion free, and that'll prep that line and prevent it from corroding. But this material here lasts a long time, not like this material. This material, if I changed all those lines on your car, this would last maybe, depending on where you live and the salt and stuff they put on the roads, you might get 6 years out of this. And then it perforates. It does have a copper core, but it's galvanized. And when the galvanizing wears off from the acids from road salt, it doesn't take long for these to corrode through. But this is tough to work with. This is the new version, so I really like it. So till next time, if you like this video, please subscribe, share us, leave a comment. Yeah, leave a comment for Skippy. Skippy's doing a good job. Just remember to turn everything on and turn everything off when you're done. Which reminds me, did you turn off the coffee maker, Skippy? Maybe not. Okay, next time. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And like and follow us on Facebook. That would be very helpful to become a part of our Car Connection community. Watch us on Stevensville on the web. We put some posts up there. We put some reels up on Facebook. And happy motoring, friends. And we'll see you in the next one. Well, thank you for stopping by the Car Connection Workshop right here on YouTube. Don't forget to come back and join us for another segment. So like, share, tag, and follow, and ding that bell so that you don't miss a single edition of Car Connection. So till next time, keep it under 100 and put the coffee on, because we're coming to your house.